Hello, this is Brian D. Hill on October 10, 2022, at close to 10 o'clock p.m. at night. I took a nap and I had a dream, and it's a dream about blackmail. And I need to tell about this dream before I forget about it because when God gives you visions, and sometimes the form of dreams, the people must know about it if it is concerning something that can affect everybody and their ability to peacefully fight back against the New World Order, against the deep state, the swamp, the pedophile rings. Now, in my dream, I went with my mother to West Virginia and, got permission from my probation officer, and then after that, I somehow ended up in Washington, D.C. And then it pivoted over to a young guy who went to some college or university or wherever the meeting was that had a professor. I mean, it could have been a CIA training course for all I know. It could have been National Security Agency. Could have been DIA. I don't know. But it was a group of young people and a professor. And this professor brought in this prisoner. I'm not sure if it's a federal or state inmate or local prisoner that was shackled to a probably like I think it's a wheelchair. And this professor says a politician needs to rape the shit out of her. I'm not trying to cuss here, but that's exactly what the professor said. He said rape the politician to rape the shit out of her. And so this dream is about blackmail, and it was teaching young people. I'm not sure if it's Harvard or Yale or whatever elite university or mystery school or whatever this place is, but they were teaching young people to blackmail politicians with sex crimes, saying rape the shit out of her. And so right after that, he had recorded it at that time. He had some kind of hidden camera. And this young guy, maybe he was a conservative, maybe he became a conservative. I'm not trying to say it's all Republicans, but for some reason, this guy had reservations about having politicians raping women or raping prisoners or raping children or whoever. I don't know the age of the person, the woman who was going to get raped. It could have been a teenage girl. It could have been an adult woman. But the professor was given instructions that a politician was to rape the shit out of her. So, and this is in my dream. In my dream, I get this, and I'm like, there's a college course being taught about blackmailing politicians by getting them to rape someone and videotaping it. So he videotaped the what the professor said, and he went to the Washington D.C. Police department somewhere in my dream, and then there was a black cop that started taking the information. He gave his credibility. He said, "I am credible." He was from some elite school or CIA or wherever this is. And he said, "I have recordings of the professor talking about this. I have the proof and the credibility of my claims." And then the cop gave a weird look, and then he said, "There's nothing I could do about this," and refused to investigate it. So here we go. He has a video of a professor of a university, college, or wherever, or maybe it's a CIA training session, and they talked about getting a politician to rape the shit out of a woman. And so, talking about raping people, and my guess it's for blackmail. So after that, he went to the New York Times, and he went to the Washington Post. He went to every mainstream media outlet hoping they would cover it. None of them would, in my dream. And so it was kind of an interesting dream, and somehow I was in the dream at one point talking to this guy, and I was like, "Hey, why don't you try the spotlight?" And the Spotlight was a newspaper that covered, like, it was alternative media, back then. I would say around the time when Infowars was in its infancy and there wasn't many alternative media out there, there was the Spotlight, which is now the American Free Press. And I suggested, hey, why don't you try the Spotlight? So I go with this guy to the Spotlight, the American Free Press, and immediately the editor, of course, knew who I was because I kept trying to bring my criminal case to his attention. He didn't want to cover it. So he was like, "Oh, Brian, you're here to try to get us to cover about your federal case," and I'm like, "Look here, this guy, this guy knows of a blackmail scheme. They're told to rape women. That politicians got to rape the shit out of them, and then after that, the editor went serious, and then after that." That was, I guess, it for my dream. I can't remember any more than that. And so, in my dream, I was in Washington, D.C., and I met up with this young guy who was taught in a college or it's a CIA or deep state meeting talking about raping women to blackmail the politicians. And now, I don't know if it was a teenager or not, like with Jeffrey Epstein, but the dream was telling me that if this was during the period of the Spotlight magazine, newspaper, then this might have been in the 90s, during the Bill Clinton era. But it's definitely an interesting dream, and I feel like warning the American people about it, because if they were raping women for the purposes of blackmail, I need to tell about it. And I'll probably tell Lynn Wood about my dream too. Because Attorney Lynn Wood is a man of God. And I want to tell this man of God, you know what I mean? Well, we're all children of God. But, since he's a Christian, a fellow Christian, I want to tell Lynn Wood about this dream of mine. There's college courses, Subway, where they're saying, hey, have them rape the women. Have them rape women and blackmail them with it. And so that's the dream I had. And it concerned me. And I'm like, I need this to be public. I need people to know about this. And so this dream is top priority. My family will upload this after I'm done. And people need to take my dream seriously, because Lynn Wood spoke of this. And I recently had a campaign, a call to action, to go to justiceforuswgo.wordpress.com/frameup, and or /setup. And now all of a sudden I'm getting a dream of this young guy who recorded the exchange, recorded the class he was in, and somehow he tried to go to the Washington, D.C. police, and they couldn't do anything about it. They refused to do anything about a guy advocating raping women or raping prisoners, take a woman and have her raped so that she could be so that could be blackmail material. And I'm concerned about this. This dream could be real, or it could have been based on a real event that happened at one time in Washington, D.C. And so spiritually, I need to bring this up. Spiritually, anybody who understands what has happened. I'm aware of this whole blackmail stuff, because the judges are acting weird in my case. They don't ever follow the Constitution. They ignore the evidence. They ignore the law, which violates due process of law. And so I suspect they've been blackmailed, either with child rape and murder, or maybe they were blackmailed with raping women, like with that college or university professor, whoever or instructor, like in the CIA, the farm, talking about raping a woman. That a politician is to do that, to teaching people to engage in a blackmail scheme. This is very scary. This is dangerous. If I tapped into something real, they could come after me. They could have me killed, but probably not. But I know it's somewhere in Washington, D.C., and then there was something about like monuments, about the Constitution, in my dream, and about how it's not being followed, and they're calling people terrorists. And now that references was also in my dream. Prior to that, we were just, then there was another place where I might have saw Tim Kaine. the U.S. Senator for Virginia, and we were talking about Bohemian Grove, me and my mother or something, almost like it was referencing Bohemian Grove or some kind of place. So all this stuff is important because Tim Kaine is tied with the Clintons and is tied with Chief Justice, the Chief Justice of the Virginia Supreme Court, involved in my case. One of my criminal cases or civil cases. So about me, being innocent. So there seems to me there's something about this stream. This stream is a warning. Somebody wants to tell me that they're blackmailing people and they can't go to the media. They can't they can't go to the police. They go to the police and they look at you funny and they're like, we can't do anything about this. I mean, yeah. In other words, they want to do something about it, but black or white, they'll say we can't do anything about this. The cops are afraid. They don't, because if they corrupted the police chief in Washington D.C., they're not going to come forth and say, they're blackmailing Congress people, they're blackmailing senators with sex crimes. No. They're going to get targeted, and the chief of police will probably put a lid on it. So, if somebody's trying to reach out to me, I tell that person, go to the alternative media. Try to go to the American Free Press. Try to go to the alternative media. Tell them your story. Make a video about it. Put it online. Tell people about it. That's my suggestion to you. Go to Project Veritas. If you recorded a meeting where they're telling people to blackmail the shit out of a woman, blackmailing the politicians by getting them to rape women or young girls. If anybody has undercover video of this, they need to go to Project Veritas. That would be credible evidence right there. And then I could be vindicated for making these claims about, from Attorney Lynn Wood. We can finally be validated. Our claims can finally be cross-examined and verified as credible. Because, if people can come forth and tell their story, even if it's in a dream, I hope that they will go public for real. Not just in a dream, a spiritual dream, but to go tell people and blow the whistle for real and tell them what's going on. Because if we can stop the blackmail of politicians like Tim Kaine and all these other people, I'm not saying for certain, but I'm saying if he's blackmailed, if they're blackmailing these politicians, then if it can come out and people can reveal what's going on, this could change the tide of the globalist war against the American people. Then we can win peacefully. We can win if people come forth, not just bring up about the organized child pornography setups of people that the government dislikes. They set people up with child porn. But if they could come forth and talk about women being raped by politicians, that they're being directed to do this by college professors or universities or training instructors, whether it's CIA or NSA or Defense Intelligence Agency. This is serious and this needs to stop. Politicians do not need to be blackmailed like this. And so, this is the video of my dream and my concerns about it. God bless you, and angels watch all. God bless you, and angels watch over you all. This is coming from my heart, so I hope and pray that people watch this video and understand what I'm talking about. Amen. My name is Brian D. Hill, formerly of USWGO Alternative News, Justice for USWGO.wordpress.com, and Justice for USWGO.nl. And, please tell people about my dream and inform as many as possible in the spiritual significance of my dream. Thank you.